Welcome back to another bid opportunity on SAM.gov, and today we are looking at a office furniture relocation services. And we'll dive more into it, but this is going to be a one-year contract to not just move a few pieces of furniture, but we're actually looking at a few hundred pieces of furniture over a one-year duration of the contract. So this could be a very good contract. This is a contract that I wanted to bring up on the channel here for an example for you guys, and we're going to walk through it step by step together to see what our response would be for our proposal. We will also jump back over to ChatGPT to ballpark some pricing and see what other good stuff we can find that's going to be helpful and educational for you as a government contractor. So again, this is for office furniture relocation services. This opportunity was posted August 13th and is due August 29th. This is for the VA, and they are using the SDVOSB set aside. This is for the 561990 NAICS code, which is for all other support services. So it's kind of a catch-all NAICS code. We do see that Abdul Sanford is the POC in contracting, and contracting is actually located in San Antonio, Texas. So we will also keep an eye out to see where the place of performance, meaning as this furniture is being moved and relocated, where are they moving it from, right? And then where are they moving it to? For attachments, we have a photo of an example of the desk, cubicles, and table suites, and they're actually called L desks, and we'll read more about that, I'm sure. We also have the solicitation doc, which is where we're going to be spending majority of our time. It is 56 pages, and we're not going to go through every single page, of course. We're just going to get to the most important parts, and we will see that contracting has made highlights for us, which we'll pay special attention to. And maybe sometimes you will find that in the solicitations, the opportunities that you're looking at on SAM.gov as well. Contracting is kind of trying to help you, trying to guide you, trying to point you to the really important sections of the solicitation. So as we make our way through here, we are hit with the statement of work, and they're calling this the El Paso, looking for the POP, the El Paso Office Furniture Relocation Services. So the El Paso VA healthcare system. I mean, why don't we just plug that into Google, right? Give us, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, El Paso VA healthcare system, showing right up here on the map. So we kind of have a vague idea. They are requiring the dismantling, breaking down, loading, transporting, and installation of, drumroll please, 250 workstations. 250 of these bad boys from 3773 Cherry Creek Drive, North Denver, Colorado, VA, to various locations and community C-Box in El Paso. So they're moving from Denver and they're bringing them into El Paso. My goodness. The main facility is at this building in Fort Bliss, the Women's Clinic, Turner Road, Fort Bliss, Texas. Okay, so they're seeking professional install services for office space workstations at these specified locations, of course. This requirement shall include floor planning and office measurement as well. The vendor shall have the necessary credentials to secure access to the Department of Defense facility, Fort Bliss. Each workstation shall be configured as a 6x6, again, L-shaped. That's why we're calling it L-shaped. They're calling it L-shaped. With 2 pedestals. The contractor is responsible for providing all the necessary equipment, dollies, hand trucks, file carts, etc. The service shall include the number of workstations, staging, storage, install, and not to mention, not to go over it like too quickly, guys, but to mention it to you, rather, will be, again, moving it, right? Transportation, loading, breaking down. So you're going to have to go to Denver, where I just was this past weekend, actually. Boulder, in Boulder. But we flew into Denver, of course. You're going to have to move all that. So we're looking at some serious freight here. Break down, move it, stage it, measure it, and then reinstall it at various different locations in El Paso. So this is not a small contract by any means, but is a doable contract, and that's why I'm showing it for you today in this example. So they are, once again, giving us approximates for the intended locations, so 36 to 40 for the main facility, 9 to 12 for building 116, 33 to 36 workstations for the women's health clinic, and so we were seeing that in the statement of work as well. 93 to 100 workstations at building 11 to 80. So just kind of giving you a heads up. This is what you can expect, and they're giving you, we haven't seen it just yet, but they're going to be giving us a year to do all this. They're giving us the general requirements for the services here. And I won't read too much of every line here, but they want you to designate a PM, contractor designated PM. They want you to perform an inspection of the building and grounds prior to commencing work with the Corps. They're giving you delivery instructions. You have to notify the Corps at least 14 days prior. Contractors shall be bonded and insured by standard commercial practices. They're also going to want you to have insurance. Job site cleanliness, you're responsible, of course, for the removal and disposal. Okay, this stuff is fairly straightforward. There will be a kickoff meeting with the prime contractor prior to the first task order, and they are calling it a task order. You will be giving a quality control plan before you start work as a submittal. Insurance, of course, general liability, property damage liability, workers' comp and employer's liability insurance. They're asking for you to come with that as well. Now, what's interesting is next, when we get to the actual pricing table, the pricing CLIN, well, we just have one, and it's called one job. It's called Just Do It. So they're saying the relocation and install services up to 188 jobs since all desks are the same. So earlier we saw 250, here they're saying 188 in the pricing table. So we would have to go with 188. We can always try to clarify with contracting. The contract's going to begin September 15th of this year and go for a year till September 14th of next year. And depending on when the contract gets awarded, they're probably trying to award this by or before September 30th, so it can be on the proper fiscal year. They're probably going to award this pretty quickly. So again, that you can get to work, because guess what? These people are waiting to move. They can't move until all the desks are set up. So they are asking you, consistent with a VA contract, to certify that if awarded the contract, you will comply with limitations on subcontracting, right? Specifically because this is also SDV OSB set aside. So the VA especially is very particular about protecting that, not doing full pass-through to non-SDV OSB companies. And then as we make our way down, we find ourselves reaching the highlighted section of the instruction to offers. They're saying a site visit actually was a couple of days ago, and questions are due tomorrow. So we're really, getting to the point of no return at the live recording of this video. But if nothing else, this is a great example for you guys. So offer submittal instructions, SF 1449 form, pricing. Okay, this is kind of high-level stuff. We're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of what they're asking for here. Items 1 through 8 of the section describe the minimum solicitation requirements. Failure to complete will result in removal from consideration. So this is a competitive best value selection using a comparative analysis evaluation procedures in accordance with the FAR. Quotes will be compared to one another to determine which provides the best benefit to the government. The government reserves the right to consider a quote other than the lowest price. That provides additional benefit. So is there a way that you can save the government time, frustration? Okay, these can be examples of additional benefits where, you know what, if you're a little bit higher on price or if you're not the lowest, you could still win by doing this. Quotes may exceed minimum requirements. The government reserves the right to select the quote that provides, again, the best benefit. By submission of its offer, the offer accedes to all solicitation requirements, including the terms and conditions, reps and certs, etc., in the statement of work. Okay, next. For your quote, They will determine suitability for 1, technical capability, 1A. Explain how, contract management, communication. So this is proposal stuff, okay? I'll stop kind of fully talking at you. This is what you are wanting to start to build a bit of an outline off of, okay? And we'll just break this down a little bit so we can get a little bit more hands-on for today's training. So technical capability, they're literally saying 1, right? Yeah, 1. So we're gonna call it 1. And they're calling it A, we're calling it A. Explanation of contract management, boom. Communication and collaboration, boom. Documentation, boom. Reporting, boom. And overall technical approach will meet the requirements of the SAL. So we are literally breaking this down. Okay, you can see on my screen. We essentially have 5 bullets here. And we have to, we have to respond to each of these. And this is how I want you teeing up your outlines. And as I always say, we never start with a blank sheet of paper. And as you can see, we're quickly transforming using their language so that way we know we are going to stay compliant with what they're asking for. Past performance next. Because we're using their language, we're using their titles, their headings, we're using their sequence. Provide up to 3 references, or provide references for up to 3 contracts for the last 5 years similar in size and scope. This information shall include the contract number. Okay, so boom. Agency, and if it's agency, it's commercial contract. It can be Bob's Roofing. It can be whatever. I mean, Bob's transportation, I guess I should say. An email address. So they want each of these for each of your 3 references. So we can bullet these out as well. And we can even go to say past performance number 1. And then simply, they said up to 3. So let's say, however you are fulfilling this requirement, however you're doing the work, whether you're teaming or if you have actual past performance, okay, we're responding to each of these this way. And since we're saying provide references for 3, we can actually just transform this to please see the following, we'll say 3 references for work performed by, ABC LLC, our company, for projects that are similar in size and scope over the last 5 years, colon. So we can take that out. This is just in real time, just off the cuff. We got our A here. Proposal outlining. And then they also gave us a B, so we'll see what that B is. Past performance will also be evaluated using CPARs. Communicating with the provided reference and other means to determine a lack of past performance will not be considered a negative, right? Because if you don't have past performance, you shall not be rated favorably or, what is it? Favorably or unfavorably. So we don't have to provide anything here. We will take that out. And unless you have CPARs, right? If you had CPARs, you can say, please, if you want to, you can attach them or cite your CPARs that is in the system. Please see CPARs rating for ABC LLC in the CPARs system. If you don't have them, you can not include it here because they're just saying it more of like an FYI. Or you can do, you could also just go like NA. This is more of like an optional one, okay? And then 3, price. A, prices will be evaluated for completeness and reasonableness. That's all they're giving us. And we have the pricing table, which is one job that we may end up, you may end up ultimately deciding to attach here, attach below, or you may end up attaching separately, right? So we can even start to, we can put headers on this just so we can form a basic table of contents. And I'll show you that in just a second. Right, before we go to like gangbusters with all that, I probably should have did this after, because now all this is going to have headings on it. I will just insert a blank page. Okay, so if you wanted to do, we're going to have to unformat that too. Cover page, new keyboard, hitting buttons, cover letter. So if we wanted to do that, it'd be more like cover page on the first page, cover letter on the second page, dear sir, ma'am, right? And cover page is going to be more like ABC LLC, solicitation number, notice ID, due date. Just giving you real rough, making it real quick for today. This is not meant to be a whole like proposal training. What does it say our due date was, right? POC and contracting. Abdul Sanford. POC and contracting. Okay, cool. You can put this aside if you want. The agency, Department of the VA. Okay, kind of. You don't typically write cover page on the cover page, but you'll just high level. High level stuff. I'm certainly not going to do the cover letter, but you can have some sort of what we call an introductory paragraph. Something like that, right? You can sign it at the bottom. Name, print, date, signed. New keyboard. Okay, so all of that to just kind of be able to have a little bit of info before we just go to layout, not layout, references, where is it? Table of contents. We'll just do an automatic. Okay, so we have a technical, past performance, price, and why did it do that? Because we used headers, so that is the magic of headers. We are not operating from a blank sheet of paper. We have very, very rough, not even an outline, more like a skeleton. It's not complete enough to be an actual outline. So anyways, that just gives us an idea of what we're looking at when it comes to potentially responding to this thing. So technical, okay, this is where we left off. Literally copy and pasted that, created this from that to give you an example. They're saying offers are cautioned to submit sufficient information in the format specified in the instruction to offers. Okay, offers may be asked to clarify certain aspects. Adverse past performance is defined as past performance information that supports a less than satisfactory rating. It's pretty much what they've asked for in our proposal. We do have reps inserts here. Okay, offers, reps, inserts. And maybe we go reps, inserts, attached separately, or if you want to paste them in there, you can, that's fine. Update table. Okay, so now we got reps, inserts into our table too. We're going to have our SF 1449 form, so we have to fill this out as well. That would be considered like administrative data. But that's kind of getting us rocking and rolling, since we don't have a million different attachments for this. So now what I really want to do is also, as promised at the beginning of today's training, spend a little bit more time on pricing, and with that we will be, of course, for high level stuff, using ChatGPT. So what we will want to do is try to extract from what we read the main parts of the statement of work. So since I've read it, I'm going to start typing. You could also upload this document, and I'll do it in another video where you upload it to ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it for you. Or heck, I mean, maybe, why not? Maybe we'll do it today. So I've got the solicitation attached here, and we'll just start out very simply. Based on the attached solicitation, please, I like to say please in case the robots take over in the future, though remember that I was the polite one. Maybe they'll spare me and my family. Doesn't hurt. We just don't know. So based on the attached solicitation, please provide pricing consistent as one job to be performed over one base year beginning September, I think they said September 15th, but the time isn't really that big of a deal if I got that wrong. Include all transportation, unloading from Denver to El Paso locations for 188 workstations. Also include in your pricing the necessary insurance information being required. That's not insurance policy pricing being required to support those policies. Let's just see what happens with this. So first they're giving us labor to dismantle, load, transport, and install 188 workstations. They're saying the labor cost for that would be approximately $16,000. For transport from El Paso, 700 miles one way, they're accounting for 3 26-foot box trucks, fuel mileage, 3 drivers, 20 hours each. So they're saying $6,300 for that. So we're right around 22 grand. $2,000 for dollies, carts, bins. Insurance requirements, $1,200 for those annual premiums. Adding in some company overhead and G&A at 10%. They're putting an 8% profit on that. So the same grand total is around $30,000, which only is really leaving $2,200 for profit. This feels low to me. It seems like a very big job. Let me ask, did you include pricing for, remember they mentioned staging and measuring? If not, please add. Oh, also include pricing for a designated contract manager throughout. So we'll say for one designated. Okay, so I wasn't taking it, so I had to put it in. So it says, yes, I revised the estimate to include both staging and measuring and a contract manager. Here's the updated all-inclusive price. So now it takes us to just under $35,000. How much are they giving us for a contract? Only $1,800 for a contract manager / PM. I don't think that's realistic. I'm going to say, do you think the price for contract manager is realistic for this base year contract? It's not even a base year, it's just 1 year. I'm going to say only $1,800. So it says, great point, $1,800 for a designated PM across one full period would not realistically cover the level of oversight expected. So they're basically saying if you want a light touch PM, 5,400, somebody more active, closer to 20 hours a month, that would be 10,000. And then somebody who's more not full-time, but it says high oversight, near full-time, 21,000 at 45 bucks an hour. And maybe the middle one, right? So if we update the PM line from 1,800 to 10.8, which is what I was saying, their new grand total was around 43,000. We'll say 44,000. So $43,930 to move the furniture, transport it, freight it. It's not even freight, it's box trucks, right? From Denver to El Paso over the period of a year. Not too bad. I think a lot of people are going to overbid this contract. I do think you could probably increase your profit on this as well. Maybe even if you wanted to take the PM money down a bit. I mean, after all, it's just going to be one price, so you're going to get paid what you're going to get paid. It is one job. Where's our pricing table? It's one job. So the money is what the money is, right? So there's a few, you're also getting some G&A and overhead too. Not that that's necessarily profit, but it just depends on how you're going to run and manage the contract, what's actually required. So I think this is a fun one. It gets your mind going, gets you thinking outside the box a little bit, lets you see what's possible. Definitely going to be simplified acquisition contract as well, under 250K. Makes the procurement process that much easier. Guys, if you want additional training, I have my Win Contracts Fast Without Wasting Time and Money. Highly recommend that. You can jump into that right now. I'll have a link for that down below if you want to keep going. If you like today's video, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. We've got a lot of folks watching who are not subscribed. Consider this your formal invitation to subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you like videos like this. We've done a few lately and you guys seem to like them. Definitely smash the like button, but let me know on the comments below if you've ever gone after a contract like this before, or maybe this is a contract that you would consider going after. And what are some of the challenges? What are some of the roadblocks that you've experienced with the contracts that you've been going after, maybe even if they're not like relocation specific? Like, it's fine. This is a government contracting, federal government contracting channel after all. And again, if you like my transparent, bold style, I try to be a straight shooter on everything that I can. I try not to speak about things ever that I don't know about and I don't have personal experience with. So again, subscribe to the channel, guys, if you don't want to miss out on future trainings. And until next time, thanks for watching, and you got this.